Tyler the Creator tips. So last night I said I'd jump on this morning and do a bit of a video on where I think is the best place to stand and stuff. We went to Sydney night 1 and we ended up getting Barricade. Now we got there at about 9:15 and we were number 14 and 15. After we got there, no one came for ages though. Really, we didn't have to go that early. We easily could have gone lunchtime, late afternoon, and still made Barricade. However, I'm glad we went when we did because we ended up meeting an amazing group of people, which I think just like hyped up the rest of the night because they were such high vibes and good people, so that was really good. But if you can't get there early, I wouldn't stress. You're still going to get a good spot. GA, the lineup was a hell of a lot longer from earlier on, so I can't predict where you should stand. However, I still wouldn't rush getting there too early or freak out if you couldn't get there too early, because again, no matter where you stand, you're going to get a good view because of how high the stage is. So when you're on Barricade, there are some parts of the night where you won't see the performer. You'll have to see up on the screen. You can't even see the whole screen because it's so tall. So the further back you are, the more you're actually going to see. So for people who have FOMO and are worried about that, you're not. Like, the only reason I would stress about getting Barricade is if you really want to be that close to the performers. But otherwise, if you're happy to just dance along, like, you're going to have an amazing view from the back. Hang on, I'll put up a photo. All right, so we were standing right in that corner on the right-hand side. And I found that he came to the right a hell of a lot. Tyler the Creator did. So if you wanted to stand here at Barricade, or I feel like he would be a really great spot at Barricade as well because he faces the front a lot. And I think he sort of sits down for one or two of the songs around here. But otherwise, if you stood back, if you weren't at Barricade, like around here, you're going to get some really great shots and views. But like I said, you can see this is so tall. There was a dude that was like over 6 foot and it was still above his head. So even if you're back here, you're going to see absolutely everything. But this and this area would be where I think is the best to be. Now, when they do form a pit, if you're at Barricade, it gets quite squishy. Everyone pushes in right to the front. If you're like strong enough and sort of aware of your situations, you can push back and brace yourself a little bit so you're not like completely squished. And I found that people are pretty respectful to, sort of help out or try and step back a little bit as well. For people that are feeling dizzy and stuff, everyone else will look around you. Security will help get you out if you're too dizzy and get you water if you need it. Now, if you're VIP, we lined up for ages, but I think it was around 3:30-ish, 3:45, where security had come out. They checked our names off and then they gave us wristbands, so they were honouring the lines and numbers that we had done. So our wristbands had numbers on them. Then we were allowed to go away and come back, I think at like 4 o'clock, 4:15, 4:30-ish, around that time anyway. Then we got like a bag check, walked in, and then not long after we were let into early access for merch. Now, merch, there is merch outside, and if you've got VIP, there is merch inside as well, but if you've got VIP, you'll get early access. There were the blind bags, whatever they're called, outside and inside. The merch stand outside line got really, really big, so I would suggest if you're trying to get merch and you've got GA, get there early. If you've got VIP, I wouldn't stress about going to that merch stall, just go to the one inside. And when you get your merch, if you're VIP, you'll just go in, sit down. Again, they get you to do sort of sit by your numbers, so you just sort of sit somewhere, line up with your numbers, and then wait to be led in. You go one by like single file down, and then you can pick anywhere on the floor that you want to stand. GA again is a little bit different. Once we get let in, then they get let into that bit and then into the venue. So I think GA, I was sitting down, so don't quote me on this one, but I think GA got let in a bit before 6:30. If you are in the pit, I would suggest just sitting down until closer to 7:30 because you're not going to get to sit down after that, so just plonk your butt on the floor. and people will manoeuvre around you. It's fine. A lot of people were sitting down beforehand. I think that's really it. It was such a good crowd. I was anxious after like the whole Billie Eilish ordeal, but this crowd were, like, for the most part, 99% of them were all kind, courteous. Everyone was in such a good mood. Everyone was looking out for each other. Like, it was such a high vibe concert. Tyler, the Creator, is obviously not my jam. I'm too old for that sort of stuff. Well, you know, you don't have to be. There's no age limit on music, but it's just not my jam. But I still had a really good night because of the energy of everyone else and how nice everyone was. Andrew's had a little group to hang out with, which was cool. So yeah, you'll have an amazing time. And again, don't stress wherever you are. Because of how high it is, you're always going to have a great view.